does it feel like being part of the dream?
That's fun. That's fun.
Gives me this long side look. It was fun.
It was a good time. Because I like usually just work and go home and sit in solitary confinement playing my video games all. So
you have to get out.
Yeah, it's nice. The air is nice out here.
Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the CP to the Second Degree podcast, your home for everything in their Nerdosphere. From the silver screen to the small screen and everything in between.
Like Seth.
I am one of your hosts, Clayton Presson. With me, as always and forever, is my brolock, Corbin Presson.
Yeah, how's it going?
Pretty good. We also have a very special guest with us today. None other than Twitch streamer and avid Destiny player. Not that one guy.
Not that one guy.
AKA Seth Klocke.
That's the name my parents gave me.
Welcome to the podcast, Seth.
Front and center.
Hi guys. How's it going?
Pretty good.
How are you doing today? Tell us about yourself, Seth. Our viewers don't know who you are. You're a member of our fire team. We've known you for a few years, so get them caught up. 2 years ago.
2 years ago, Clayton made me buy a PlayStation. No, he didn't. But I switched over from Xbox, and mainly for the reason of the video game we're gonna talk about today. Because a lot of my friends didn't play on Xbox anymore, and Clayton just so happened to be also investing in the game, and it's a lot more fun playing with friends. So
Words to live by, am I right?
So that's how he joined our life. He was there from the beginning, thanks to Destiny.
It's true. He joined our life because of Destiny, and because of Destiny, our kneecaps are touching underneath this table. It's a little cramped than it usually is.
Awkward. As you may have noticed, this is also our first episode on screen. And hopefully the video camera doesn't die, so I don't have to edit this part out and make myself a liar.
True. It is important to note that we originally wanted to do this from the get-go, but
As a video,
but life happens, I guess. More accurately, technology craps out, and we just decided we didn't want to deal with it. But what better way to break that wine bottle over the ship at the CP YouTube channel than to have our favorite Twitch streamer on?
That's right.
It's rather poetic. It worked out for the best. I'm happy.
It did.
My only job here is to watch the battery meter.
That was my roommate's job when we played Outlast. Just to find batteries.
Put them on the charger.
You're down to one. You're down to one part. You need to find a battery, or it's gonna get real dark in here. All right. Well, this week, as you may have guessed, we're gonna dive into video games and discuss one of this generation's biggest franchises, Destiny. We'll discuss how we feel about the game, what it means to us. We'll dive into some memories, and we'll talk about what we want from its future.
Did you email me this?
No, I did not.
So I'm just following your plot.
I mean, we don't really have a whole lot to go by. We talked about it in the beginning. It's not like past episodes where I have 2 pages of show notes. I have
blind, folks.
7
blind.
You see this waterfall? Just go with the flow.
Alright, last week was our review of Captain America Civil War. Our spoiler-full review had us discussing why the movie worked so well, what little we would have done differently, and what we want from the Russos as they continue down the Marvel road.
Reign of the Russos and Kevin Feige we trust.
If you missed that or any of our past episodes, or if this is your first episode and you want to check out our backlog, be sure to hop over to Podbean or iTunes and check them all out. Remember, all of our episodes come at you free every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time.
CSTE, which is what we're drinking right now.
So if you like what you hear, please hit the follow button on Podbean or the subscribe button on iTunes to stay caught up on all of our latest episodes. Also, we'd greatly appreciate a review on iTunes.
Please.
We want to know what you think, what you like, what you don't like. As we've said before, we want to continue to grow, and you can help us do that with a review.
We're not going to get into it today, but there are potential opportunities for our podcast's future.
Yes.
So please, let us know what you like.
Slap down a review so we know in what direction we need to go.
So when this, hopefully, we go down an avenue where we can expand. We're giving you quality. This is blueberry bliss tea, by the way. Do you like it? Have you had any? You haven't touched your tea.
I've been drinking it.
You haven't?
He has not. He's a liar.
I have to make it last for an hour.
There's more in the pot.
Wait, watch.
There you go.
There you go.
Look at that.
Nice.
Pinky up.
That's fancy. That's real fancy. Usually my tea comes in just a pitcher.
You don't even make it yourself?
I make it.
Oh, okay.
I make
Okay,
it with
I see.
like
okay.
2 scoops of sugar. Lots of sugar.
Oh, dang.
Like two 1 cup.
I'm wired all the time.
Two 1 cup scoops?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my word.
Just like this big.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I do like maybe half a cup at most in a gallon.
It's like McDonald's sweet tea, okay?
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's way too much. I have to get half cut at McDonald's with extra ice.
I go the other extreme. I go unsweetened.
Mm.
The only time I sweeten my tea is when I make my Teavana tea with the rock sugar. That's the only time I sweeten my tea. Every other time it's unsweetened.
Yeah, I always get half and half when I can because I'd prefer to have real sugar. It mixes nicer than to put sweetened low in my tea.
Well, I don't sweeten it.
I know. I'm just saying. For me, I have to have a little. The bitterness has to be taken off. I don't like it real sweet, but I want the bitterness to just be like, just gone. So.
That sounds delicious.
Man.
Now.
I am thirsty. Luckily for me.
Goodness gracious.
Longest intro ever.
Let's open up the interwebs.
Yep.
Grab all the grains of salt in our news and rumors.
For news and rumors this week, Clayton, I'm going to start off with...
And Seth.
You're right. Seth, you can actually comment during this too. This is a very exciting podcast. I'm very excited about this. You can comment too. Yes. Just jump on in. If you got comments, just don't be bashful.
Oh, I'll be here. Trust me.
Okay, so first up, I'm really happy right now. So first up, Harley Quinn spinoff film is in the works.
Oh my goodness.
The brainchild of this film is actually Margot Robbie herself. When she dove into researching the role of Harley Quinn, she became enthralled. Yeah, I hit that. She became enthralled with all the strong female characters that cross the path of Harley Quinn. So she took upon herself to find a writer who at this moment remains a mystery and pen a script. WB likes it, and they're currently getting ready to greenlit it. And when that inevitably happens, she will actually be the producer and lead of the film.
Greenlit it.
Greenlited.
That is green lit.
Litted. So basically think like not necessarily Birds of Prey, but think when it's like Harley Quinn's current comic book, more like one of them stars like her, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman. You could very easily throw Batwoman or Batgirl into the mix and get like the Gotham gals together.
So would it be an anti-hero type of flick?
I don't know. I guess it would have to be if it's gonna be all villains. And then you could have what you could do is you could turn the tables, right, and have it told from the villain's perspective, and have Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman be the leads of this film, and Batgirl being the hero of the story is looked at as the villain. So similar to what Sony wanted to do with the Sinister Six movie.
Mm-hmm.
where it's going to be about the Sinister Six form, but be from the films. I don't know. I mean, that could be interesting.
Not for me. I wouldn't watch it.
I don't like you. What about you, Seth?
Sounds like there's gonna be some pretty decently looking women, so I would probably be there.
Margot Robbie is very attractive, I will say, and I don't want to go down that road. It could sound mean, misogynistic, but she's very beautiful. She's a beautiful woman.
What kind of a world do we live in that you have to worry about sounding misogynistic and sexist by saying a woman is attractive?
A world where I watch videos on Facebook that say being a chivalrous man is sexist, and it's just clearly this is not the time period for me.
No.
Anyway, moving on, since you don't really care.
No, I don't know. Thanks for trying, though.
You're fine. It's news and rumors. I'm just telling you what came out this week.
It would probably
I have no control of the content.
This is how much I don't care about it. Most things either get me really excited or really upset.
Yeah.
I don't give anything about that, so.
It would probably be one of those where I wait for it to come out of theaters.
Okay.
Wait for it to come on Netflix.
Yeah, maybe. It might go straight to Netflix. We don't know.
I gotcha.
Possible.
So next up, I have this is just interesting tidbit background information. We kind of talked about Iron Man 3 last week and a couple weeks before that.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3's villain was actually originally going to be a female, not
a fake Mandarin.
Right, and it was stop pulling away from me. I'm having to lean forward.
Stop leaning forward. You're fine. Your volume's fine now.
Okay, so.
Because you talk way louder than you do in tests. You do test, I'm Corbin, blah, blah, blah. And then when you talk, you're like, I'm Corbin, I'm talking.
Okay, so the main girl from Iron Man 3 that I think still turns to be a bad guy, like she's working with Karen Gillan, or old, I don't remember his name.
Dude,
I hate this movie.
You're
either way,
grasping at straws. I don't remember anything about this.
Either way, Iron Man 3's villain was originally supposed to be female. The reason why I bring this up is because we got into the dispute between Kevin Feige and Ike Perlmutter. And the reason why there was not a female lead was because Ike Perlmutter felt like it wouldn't sell enough toys. And so he ordered the script to be rewritten. But Shane Black in the interview really, really stressed Kevin Feige's name is not attached to this at all. Don't let this very sexist ideology that is plaguing Hollywood, don't attach that with Kevin. This was all Ike.
Mm-hmm.
And this is before Ike got kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just more fuel to the fire of why I hate Ike Perlmutter and why Kevin Feige is just awesome.
It makes me wish that Kevin cared more about this stuff that's going on TV, so that he would try to muscle him out of that too.
Well, because you and I talked about, I texted you the other day and I said, what if we never see Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist ever cross over in the films?
I don't think we ever will.
Because now more than ever, Marvel actually is a divided studio. Since Ike's, what's the term for being stingy with money? Frugalness. Because of Ike's extreme frugalness, to the point of wanting to recast Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man because he didn't want to pay him the salary that he wanted.
Right.
Kevin, circumvented and went to Disney and said, I shouldn't be answering to Ike anymore. Like, these are the movies that we can be making. This is the money that we can be making. I've proved myself as a producer. Let me free reign. He said, okay, you don't answer to Ike anymore. But Ike is still in charge of TV. And now there is a rift between the two of them that I don't think there's really going to be any effort to consolidate it and, bring it all into one cohesive universe anymore.
Well, I mean, we know Kevin wasn't really that into getting Daredevil back because he would have rather had Silver Surfer and Galactus.
Right, from Fox.
So I don't think that we're gonna. I think they exist in the same world. I don't think we'll ever see the grounded heroes from Netflix appear on the big screen.
Which is a shame because Daredevil is just that good. But it kind of maybe realized that we might not ever see that. It'll be really interesting to see when the Defenders comes out and everything, if they ever make mention of Civil War. And for me, that's going to be the telltale sign of where
I think they
stand.
almost have to. I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. still did. And Daredevil's story arc, especially as Matt Murdock in the newest season, was reflected, the Cap's side of being a vigilante so well that it matched up a little too well for them not to mention it. So,
True.
we'll see.
And it's also important to note that while Ike is in charge, like he's the head, Jeff Loeb is the one who's actually in charge of TV. So Jeff Loeb is the TV as Kevin Feige was to movies. So until, I guess, Jeff Loeb gets to a point where he can go to Disney and be like, look guys, look what I can do with TV. Don't let me answer Ike anymore. He has to answer to Ike. Icky Ike.
Icky Ike. So we're racking up a lot of good hashtags. We have Reign of the Russos, in Fahey We Trust,
Icky
Bryan Singer is a dope, and now Icky Ike. You can tweet Icky Ike at Ike Perlman and tell him how icky he is.
Make it happen, viewers. Make it happen. Next, we actually got our first glimpse of Channing Tatum on the set of the Kingsman sequel.
This tea is so delicious.
Thank you. That's really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was decked out in a double-breasted suit and derby hat accompanied by an umbrella. Very similar to what we've seen in the Kingsman. However, Channing Tatum's character is an American statesman agent. So my assumption is what's happening right here is we're getting a glimpse of a scene of like the hotshot American statesman is coming over and is in awe of like how fly he looks, like being all British and kind of playing up how Channing Tatum always is in his movies, where he's kind of
in that lore. Do you remember when the Kingsmen were founded?
It was during one of the
World War One.
Yes.
I wonder if the statesmen were founded somewhat after that. So, I mean, that time period, a lot of the world had the same standards as far as manners, the way to act, gentleman's a gentleman. Like,
right.
Obviously, England is like gentleman's home,
right.
But the rest of the world was still in that mindset. Think of like the typical 1930s guy. He's a gentleman.
Right.
So maybe the Kingsmen came first. Some of the Kingsmen maybe moved to America shortly thereafter. Started a statesman over there as well. So that way they're very similar, even though they're from America.
Yeah, I guess based on like how Channing Tatum has acted in previous roles, I kind of see him being like that cowboy coming over and them really kind of playing up the two different types of perspectives. The first one was all about the British way, the distinguished gentleman. I think this one's going to be kind of the clashing of worlds where the cowboy comes over and gets decked out in a suit and he's like, oh man, that looks so fly, this is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of like in awe. He's like, oh, it's kind of like laughing at it in a meta sort of way.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But that's exactly what I thought of when I saw him in that stuff. Where Eggsy and Colin Firth seemed very natural.
Mm.
He didn't seem natural in it, and I think that's on purpose.
Gotcha.
But it's literally one picture that I'm pulling it off from. So either way, I'm excited to see it. Anyway, making a callback to last week's episode of Civil War, it has now officially surpassed $940.8 million. It has officially now passed both Deadpool and Batman v Superman, making it 2016's highest grossing superhero film.
And this is only week 2?
Yep.
So it's going to get a lot more than that.
Exactly. That allows me to segue into the MCU as a whole has grossed more than $10 billion to date.
Dang.
It's a lot of cheese.
It's also the biggest franchise to date, toppling over, monetarily speaking, franchises of Harry Potter, James Bond, and Star Wars.
That's James Bond saying something.
And
all those movies.
And the MCU is only 8 years old.
It's impressive. And we're only on phase 3.
Of 4 spoken plans.
Yeah. What's the first? Was this the first official movie of phase 4?
Yeah. That's like one of the headlines are doing is like Captain America Civil War kicks off phase 4 and blah 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 and breaking blah 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 records, blah 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 blah.
Doors closing, lights flicking.
Haunted house. The MCU adds another Human Torch Fox Marvel alum to its universe with Michael B. Jordan. Jordan has been added to the cast of the Black Panther film that we'll be seeing next year. No news on what character he is, but he's being rumored to play the villain.
Interesting. I don't even know any of his villains except for like the big dude, like who dresses in a white skinned gorilla.
Right. Well, again, like for me, Black Panther was a character like we talked about with Doctor Strange, where he's a character I really like, but I never cared enough to read his solo stuff. No, you only got so
when
much...
he was involved with the Avengers, or when he had his short stint with the Fantastic Four.
There's even, the stints with the X-Men stuff, like he was married to Storm. But, you only got so much money to spend on comics. You gotta really pick and choose where you want your money to go.
Yeah.
And while they're cool characters, their solo outings were not things that ever wanted me to pay for it. $5 every couple weeks. While we're on Marvel news, Empire Film Podcast caught Kevin Feige and confirmed that Natalie Portman will not be reprising her role in Thor Ragnarok as Jane Foster. He's quoted as saying, "I can confirm that yes, she will not be in it." Feige naturally remained vague on the exact reason why, but he also added many reasons why, many of which are in the film that you will all see. There are a couple of scenes on Earth in the movie. 80-90% of the film takes place in the other 8 realms.
Right. Out in the cosmos.
Right. So it's not going to be on Earth primarily. And honestly...
Or even at all. I was actually surprised to hear that there was anything happening on Earth.
She doesn't add a lot to the film anyways. And they're already... I forget her name, but there's a female actor was cast in a mystery role who is believed to be Valkyrie, and they're kind of saying that she might be the new kind of like love interest with Thor. We still don't even have any news yet on if the Warriors 3 and Lady Sif are going to be in the movie, which I think would be strange if they weren't, because I always wanted that dynamic to expand. I went to sleep. Could still be recording.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I'm not going to get down.
Yeah. So that's interesting to me, but nonetheless, we've got no Pepper Potts and no Jane Foster for Phase 4.
Women troubles.
Indeed.
What's your next item on the list, Corbin?
Gareth Edwards departs as the director of Godzilla 2. He wants to pursue smaller and more independent projects. Mayhaps his time on the first Godzilla and Star Wars has made him want to return to his roots, kind of go more to the indie route. And, I've done 2 big blockbusters. We know from Joss Whedon especially that they're very tasking ordeals.
Yeah.
And to work on Star Wars especially, to have so much writing, like I feel like he'd probably be like, all right, I'm gonna step away for a little while. The Godzilla movie did get bumped up to a March 22nd release date in 2019, where it was supposed to be later in the year. But Legendary Pictures said that the departure was known about before they did it. So, like, it's not like drama of like stuff being put on his lap. And it was an amicable separation.
Hopefully the sequel won't suffer because of this.
I agree, because the only reason why I'm excited for Rogue One is because of Gareth Edwards, because of what he did on Godzilla.
The only reason? The only reason.
Yeah, I mean...
only reason you're excited for Star Wars Rogue One.
Yes, because I've been excited for this movie since before we saw anything. When they said that he was directing it, I was excited about the movie.
But it's the only reason.
Yeah, the only one. Certainly isn't Forrest Whitaker. So Godzilla 2 comes out March 22nd, 2019, and the King Kong crossover film between Godzilla and King Kong is due out May 20th of 2020.
Who's directing that?
2020.
Peter Jackson?
We don't know who's directing that yet.
I'm paying Peter Jackson.
Next up, I got Simon Kinberg, the executive producer of all things X-Men and Fantastic Four, but the last one was like Fantastic is how they spelled it, because they used the 4 as the A.
What? 4 stick?
Yeah. They used the 4 as the A in Fantastic, so it's like Fantastic.
Oh.
Okay, anyway, you're being a weirdo.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That was just confusing.
So anyway, he says he wants to make more Fantastic Four films with the same cast.
Lighter tone, though, right?
Yeah, he says, not every movie can be a home run, and we learned from our mistakes, and we learned that you shouldn't mess with the DNA of what makes something great, rather than trusting the DNA to make what you're making great. I hate this man.
What's his name?
Simon Kinberg.
And what does he do?
He's the executive producer.
Of
Fox Marvel.
Yeah. What's his name? One more time.
Simon Kinberg.
Simon Kinberg. Okay, Simon.
Simon Hindenburg.
Simon Hindenburg. That's right. Not every movie can be a home run, but also not every movie just plows into the ground.
That's true. That's something special.
It takes a lot for a movie to just plow into the ground. Like, unless you're Gods of Egypt and you know from the beginning that I shouldn't be making this movie because it's going to be terrible.
It's fine though. They had Gerard Butler in there. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
At least Hollywood now has a poster child for whitewashing. Gods of Egypt.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything about that.
No, we didn't. Like, people were talking about, because the movie's so bad, no one cares, right? It's only when successful movies do it.
Well, yeah, because it's cool and hip to go after things that make money.
Yeah.
The world we live in today.
I know. So, Simon Kinberg, I'm hoping that he's still blowing smoke, and that mystery deal that Marvel struck with them is something similar to Sony or something. We know that Marvel and Fox made a deal where Fox can make X-Men TV shows, but Marvel got
something else.
Right.
What was it?
Well, it's another movie. Like, they're doing the new movie.
It's something.
Now.
No. Wasn't it something like the devil or something? Right? Something like that.
I shouldn't have given you blueberries.
There was another property that they were allowed to make a show out of.
Still, it was all X-Men related. It's from the X-Men universe. Yeah, it's the Hellfire Club. It's the X-Men. It's Sebastian Shaw's Hellfire Club. That's the show they're doing. So anyways, but Marvel got something in return, and they won't talk about what it was. Now, we know when Daredevil and Ghost Rider's rights were reverting back, Marvel said, you can keep that if you give us Galactus and Silver Surfer. And Fox was like,
blueberries.
You can have it. So I'm wondering if, did maybe they get the rights for Silver Surfer and Galactus? Because I think the next big baddie after Thanos would naturally be Galactus if you're planning phases and trying to get your ducks in a row.
Right.
Or they may be trying to court a similar deal with Spider-Man, where it's like, you have proven 3 times now that you cannot make the Fantastic Four. So much so that we dropped the comic from our entire publishing
More than that, because they made that unreleased movie also. That really crappy one in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm. Just so they could retain the rights.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll see that. Marvel's like, let us creatively produce this film. You get all the money. Just let us have our characters portrayed the way they need to be portrayed. It's not by having Michael B. Jordan street racing around being like, I'm Johnny Storm. What's up, guys? Sue Storm's my adopted sister. And we're all going to talk in a monotone grayscale. And my sister's going to wear a wig. And my dad's going to be a weirdo. And Victor Von Doom is going to be like a computer hacker. And he's going to get like deformed on an alien planet. He's going to come back wearing a metal unitard and have like a green scarf over his head, and he's gonna like have superpowers, and we're gonna fight them all together as Fantastic Four, and then we're gonna get like a building together, but it's not the Baxter Building, no, that's where the research is done for students in the school.
I know, yeah, there's a big orange guy.
The thing, that one thing.
That one thing. I never saw that movie.
So anyway, moving on. Agent Carter, sadly.
Sadly, really?
Well,
are you reading an article, or are you?
No, I'm just...
It's not sad.
I mean, I don't think it's sad. I'm just... For those who like it, it's sad. There are people who probably like Agent Carter.
It does have a small audience, which is why it has a small audience, which is why it's getting canceled on ABC, which is owned by Disney. So anything that's Marvel on ABC should be safe for its entire run. Like, they are running Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. into the ground, and that show will never get canceled.
Funny you should say that. Allow me to finish my point. Agent Carter won't be back for a third season, and ABC has changed its mind about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s spinoff, Marvel's Most Wanted. The show that would have followed Mockingjay and ex-husband Lance Hunter won't even make it to pilot.
Nope.
I guess those characters will just go back to the other show.
I don't know. They had such an emotional send-off.
But Adriana Palicki, or whatever her name is, who plays Mockingjay, I mean, she, of all those characters, actually has in her contract to like be able to appear in films. Like, not all those characters have that contract, so they will bring her back. Maybe.
I doubt it. Anyway. They sent them off. They were all in a bar secretly toasting each other from afar.
Did I tell you? I had logged on and I was just like kind of fiddling in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I thought I was watching the most recent episode, but I was actually watching, I guess, where you had left off, and it was the episode that you described of them in the house. And when it was when it was happening, I was so confused. I was like, did they do this again? Where like the house is surrounded by, I don't know who the villains are.
Not even surrounded. It was just they're coming through the front door.
They're coming through the front door. The two main characters are next to a door, but continue to proceed through the house without knowing how many enemies are around. The older brother goes, "Well, there's two more guys. Where are they at?" Again, not knowing how many people are raiding the house, and lo and behold, there's two guys standing outside. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I couldn't stop laughing. It was pretty ridiculous.
They literally make a plan to escape through the house while standing in front of a door. The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. people.
While we're on the topic of TV, I'm going to segue to a network that is pretty good. Well, not even. I guess statistically it's not, because only 1/3 of its DC shows are good. But Supergirl gets a second season and a new home. The CW has opened its arms to the Man of Steel's orphan cousin, as CBS could no longer justify the cost of the show versus its ratings. Budget cuts are inevitable, as is some of the cast leaving due to similar reasons. But this could prove to be a great move for both the show and the network. We have a strong female-led character having a show.
Yeah.
On a network that clearly cares about, well, a network that is trying to build its superhero shows.
Yeah, I like how you changed clearly cares about because
Arrow and Legends are poopy.
No, Legends is the perfect show.
Well, Legends is the perfect...
You've turned me.
Legends?
You've turned me. You've convinced me. Legends is the perfect show if you don't mind bad acting, you don't mind terrible stories, and you just focus on the concept of what the show could have been. It's the perfect show for you.
It's true. So, but although I did not see it because the Supergirl show is not on Hulu, the crossover episode with The Flash apparently was a very delightful episode. So it's cool to think that we can maybe cultivate two other good superhero shows in the CW, allow Supergirl and The Flash to cross over, and kind of continuing to build towards maybe like a Super Friends.
See, wait. How's she gonna fit into the universe?
She's from a different world.
Exactly.
Her world is a different Earth. So
if they ever do crossovers, they're gonna have to cross dimensions.
Barry's already figured out how to do that. I mean, the whole episode was when he started running. The first time he ran with the Tachyon device, he crossed into her world.
No, I know. It just seems...
There's also, again, like we talked about...
Maybe if most of the cast is leaving, she just come and live in Earth 1.
Well, yeah, there's been talk about that. Like, a friend of mine said he read an article where they said that, like, if enough people make a stink, they now hold the power to just, like, dynamite that universe and be like, all right, we'll come into ours.
That would also explain why Superman would never show up, because Superman doesn't exist.
Andrew Kaisberg and Greg Berlanti, when they were talking about the crossover possibilities of the Flash, didn't say it always had to be that Supergirl. They said Supergirl was an alien from a planet on that Earth, then whatever her name is. I don't know Supergirl's name.
Kara.
It's Kara. She, on Barry's Earth, would have to be the same. So you could have a crossover episode of just having that actress develop that version of Supergirl on Barry's Earth. So there are possibilities. Either way, I'm
We'll hopeful. See how they handle it, but it's good. I'll actually be able to watch the show now because
it won't be a serialized. Look, what I mean by that is it won't fall into like major network tropes, right? Like if they could get some new blood writing on the team, they can make it more comic centric, like the Flash is. Like the Flash breaks down all sorts of.
My free tip of the day for CW is take your people from the Flash and have them help with Supergirl. Don't take anybody from Arrow.
Don't take anyone from Arrow. Piece of trash. So while we're on the topic of Greg Berlanti, he confirms that WB is making a Booster Gold film and is actually eyeing the director's chair. When asked why he wouldn't want to do the Flash film instead, he says, and quote, "I could never direct a Flash movie that Grant Gustin wasn't the lead of," he explained. "He's my Flash." He's stirring that pot.
Yeah, good for him.
You don't like Ezra Miller?
Got a big spoon.
Doesn't sound like he's a fan of Ezra Miller either.
Nope. As for the advice he would give whoever does end up in charge of the Flash film, Berlanti added, "We have 3 words above the door of the Flash writer's room: heart, humor, and spectacle. If you're going to do something like the Flash, part of what made Barry Allen so great was that he was this guy in the middle of all these superheroes who couldn't believe that he was there, and he loved it. It was the first comic book character who made me cry. He died in Crisis on Infinite Earths, saving everybody, and he was the last one anyone expected to save everyone. So inherent in this character was this heartbroken sadness and sacrifice, but at the same time this joy. That duality is something I've really latched onto a lot in what I've done. This is the only Flash I'd know how to do." He really believes in Grant. And honestly,
he also really believes in the actual version of the Flash, which is
Right.
not what we're being given in the DCEU.
From what we know.
Well, why would he go on that whole spiel if that was the case?
No, I agree. I'm just really happy someone's stirring the pot. Just really happy.
Stir that pot.
Steve McFeely, the screenwriter from Civil War and is going on Infinity Wars, addresses why Fury was not in Civil War. That's been one of the popular questions: is where's Nick Fury during all of this?
Who cares?
Vacation.
But
I mean, go ahead and read your thing, but I didn't even think once about him.
no, I thought it was very organic. He wasn't there.
Yeah, I actually completely forgot about him until you just brought him up.
So I won't read the full quote. Basically, what he says is they said that bringing Nick Fury in would add stability to the story that they didn't want to have. Like, Nick Fury is the reason why they all got together and has kind of been like this grounding post for all of them. And he said that him being absent more exemplifies what his absence does. He's like the parent of the group, and he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go out and like go run some groceries, and I won't be back for a while. And the kids just run amok and just ruin everything. And that's kind of like where they're going with that. Is if Nick Fury was in the mix, it would have had to have been stabilized because that's what his character has been so far, and that's what would have happened.
I bet you we'll see him again
to fall apart.
running the Secret Avengers.
That'd be cool. Willem Dafoe is rumored to play an Atlantean villain in Justice League. This makes me believe that he'll probably have a small part like Commissioner Gordon is going to have, and maybe just be a seed to be planted for the Aquaman film.
Yeah.
They want it to be bursting at the seams.
Just burst it. Just fill it up. Close that lid.
And the last thing I want to end on news and rumors.
A little bit may spill out, but that's okay.
The last thing I want to end news and rumors with is, despite the very, very poor music choice, what did you think about the Assassin's Creed trailer?
Oh, I actually was really excited about it. I did have to rewatch it, muting the audio.
Did you get the link I sent you?
No. All I got was a text that said something about no audio. I didn't get a... And then it was followed immediately by 2 GIFs of Spider-Man, so I had no idea what you were talking about.
Oh, well, I had sent you a link where someone took the Kanye West song out. And
it just didn't make sense. You don't put Kanye West in an Assassin's Creed. But I really think World of Warcraft is still like, I want it to be good. I'm going to go see it hoping that it's good because I want video games, movies to succeed. Right. I think Assassin's Creed is going to be the one that does it.
They got Michael Fassbender going. You've got, I don't know, from what it seems like, they really care about the movie.
Yeah.
The Animus is cool. I like how instead of being strapped into a chair, it's
a big open room.
It's a big open room. He's like hooked up to a harness, so he's like flying all around.
It also
his body's actually moving in sync, synchronized with his ancestor.
That also gives a little bit more legitimacy to the bleeding effect, which is the more into the Animus you go, and the more past lives you live,
right?
Their skills pour into you. So like like in Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3, Desmond, the guy who's living the life of all the assassins in those video games, comes back and slowly he starts gaining these skills without having to do anything because he's living the life of his past ancestors. Right. This gives that idea a little bit
memory,
right. So he's actually doing these things.
Right.
So I think it's cool. Did you see the trailer? Oh man, we should have made him watch the trailer.
This is news to me.
We'll have to have you watch it.
Yeah. Seth is gonna watch the trailer when we're done here today, and then be watching his Twitch. The next episode he'll talk about.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that the Kanye West song is in there. Not.
We would only show you the one without it. Don't worry. Okay. It was like watching the Wild Wild West trailer or something. It was so bad.
Wild West. Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West.
It was really bad. It was. It almost ruined it for me. I was like, the concept's there, but man, this tone is stupid. Why would you? Who is in charge of editing that trailer? Who is in charge of marketing?
Maybe Fassbender's just like a huge Kanye fan.
You have flipping Woodkid like doing songs for the video game trailers and being like epic as crap.
Yeah, and you
but
pick
crap
a
being
Kanye.
used as like a good thing, not like a bad thing. Like it's like epic beyond belief. Then you have Kanye West coming in.
Yeah.
That dope.
See,
Kanye West is a dope.
I really liked Destiny's live action trailers because
those are good. Those are cool.
Mm-hmm. Those were good.
So.
Speaking of Destiny.
Topic
of the show.
We're gonna dive deep into this topic of the show, so that way Seth can have some talking time. I think he might have been a little intimidated by our nerdy talk.
I was letting it go. I just chime in every once in a while.
He was on that waterfall.
Yeah.
All right.
Had my floaters on.
So as you all know, we've said it all before. Today's topic of the show is Destiny the game. Okay. Let's start things off. Let's get Seth talking a little bit here. When you first heard about Destiny, what were your initial thoughts?
I know I might get some hard things about this, but I was like really hoping that it wasn't going to be a Halo game.
Really wasn't going to be a Halo game?
That's an okay assumption though. I mean, it was Bungie. Bungie was really only known for that.
Yeah. It was just a horrible backstory of Halo for me.
Elaborate.
Are we getting personal right now?
Yeah, getting real deep right now. So, back when I was, I want to say 6th grade, it was, I believe Halo 2 was out. And my friend was like, hey, you should come over and play, it'd be great. So I came over, and I had played some because my brother had the game. And I was like, okay, well, I had this mindset. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to show him my moves,
Right, yeah.
Go button smashing, got my sword out and stuff. My friend completely destroyed me and all of my dreams in that game. And I never played a Halo game after that.
That's how scarring it was?
It was so bad?
Because he would have his energy sword out, and he would slash me with it, and then instantly switch to a pistol and hit me over the head.
It's like playing
Dang.
It's like playing Soul Calibur with Dad and just Cassandra and hit that one move where she had her shield out and it hit your...
If you bump this table one more time...
I really want to check the computer.
I'll check the computer. Stop bumping the effing table. Stop bumping the table. Continue your story about how our father was a one repetitive move fighting game user.
You literally tucked me into this table too good. I can't get out.
You asked me to tuck you in, and I tucked you in.
This is where you're sleeping tonight, just so you know.
So we would play Soul Calibur, and my dad had this move with Cassandra where she would have her shield up, and she would just take her sword and it would jab your throat. You just do it over and over and over and over and over and over again until he won. And it's not fun because there's no parring, there's no bantering with swords. And his response was...
I was gonna say, what was his response?
We would go, Dad, that's like cheating. He would go, it's not cheating if the game lets you do it.
That's like... That's almost on the level of my exploit of Android 17 in Dragon Ball Z Budokai, where I could only fit these two things, where his Kai meter was infinite, and then I had one move, and that was it. But I could blast you as many times with my little Kais. I could use my move over and over again.
So his reasoning was, it's in the skill set. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. It's important to know.
Block poke.
Just so we can
These kids aren't owning me today.
Just so we can round the image of our father being a gamer. He did play Half-Life. He introduced us to that. He was the one who beat Ocarina of Time before we did. He played GoldenEye on like Triple Agent and Perfect Dark. He was a very good gamer. It was just when you put him in a fighting game, it's a fun sucker, man. Just a fun sucker.
We're not talking about the delicious game.
Okay. All right. So we heard Seth's kind of initial. He was a little bit more apprehensive than I actually kind of expected.
No.
What were your initial thoughts when we were starting to find out about Destiny?
Like when it first they debuted a little bit at E3.
Yeah. We're introduced to an open
I was beyond
online.
I was beyond ecstatic. So I love role playing games. Especially ones that would put you online in community of people and really kind of allow you to create an identity for yourself in a community.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to take a lot of the good aspects that were in Borderland. Like they told us it was going to be like a looting game. It was like you're going to have all these weapons and stuff. I was like, oh, that's cool. Unique weapons, unique gear. You'd be traveling through space. At that time, it was all still very vague, so I was making more in my mind than I shouldn't have looking at back on it now.
The hype was real.
But conceptually, Destiny was everything I wanted in a game. It was unique sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
It was online.
Mm-hmm.
First-person shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Role-playing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I said loot-based, but it's loot-based.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's just... For me, I was like, that's going to be my game. We had just gone off. We're going off into a new generation of console. We're leaving Red Dead Redemption behind, which was so clearly our jam.
Mm-hmm.
And it was. I thought this will be our next game.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you. When the new Red Dead comes out, my Destiny days will probably be over.
I may have to join you guys. I don't know. We'll see.
You can meet our friend Darren X63.
If he ever gets back on, goodness gracious.
He's on all the time. He's just playing other games like the ESO and GTA.
Yeah. My initial impressions was pretty much the same as yours. I think
surprise for those who listen to our podcast.
Bungie did a good job at building their own hype, but they did a bad job at telling us what we were actually going to get.
Yes.
So in my mind, because they were so adamant in telling us when you find a gun, you're gonna have a story behind that gun. People are gonna ask you, where'd you get that gun? And you're going to be able to tell them, I was doing this, having this good time. I went and did that. Right. This is where I found it, which didn't end up really being the case at all.
Yeah.
So when you're told things like that, along with kind of like the initial concept of what the game was, like your mind just kind of goes wild, You're like, I'm going to live this character and live this life in this big open universe, and me and my brother are going to take the world by storm. And our new best friend Seth is going to help us do it.
On our sparrows.
So then we're introduced to the alpha. So me and Corbin played the alpha. You played the alpha? No, didn't
You're
play
not
the
a
alpha.
beater?
No.
Make a Sword Art Online reference?
So we had access to the alpha, which only allowed you to play the very first mission, right?
Yep.
And patrol
the
Cosmodrome. And that was it. That's all you could do.
Yep.
You could go to level 8.
And did we get to level 8?
Then the beta came out, which you played in the beta, didn't you?
Yeah, I was in the beta.
Same deal. Cosmodrome, first mission. Maybe the first strike. Could we do the strike?
I think it did let us do the first strike.
Okay. And then Crucible. You could play in the Crucible. But again, the level cap was 8. And then the Saturday right before it ended, they opened up the moon.
Right. Yes.
To go explore the patrol the moon. I actually remember playing with just you, I think, and saying, I really hope there's more to this game. I really hope there's more. And that kind of leads us into our vanilla experience because, dun dun dun, There really wasn't much more.
I always quote this guy from IGN. I don't remember his name, but he said the most underwhelming thing about Destiny was realizing that when I was playing the beta, I was playing the final product.
Yes.
And that rings so true to what the final product was of that game when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And again, coming from our perspective, reaching level 8 for the third time, doing the same effing stuff 3 times in a row, grinding the crap out of that game, because the grind system was not well done.
The grind was real back then.
It was.
The grind was real. You really wanted to play that game.
Wait till we hear your story about your vaulted glass boots.
Oh my goodness, when we get into that. Oh my goodness.
We got one bar. We're not going to get into that story.
Well, I'll get into it right now. The grind was so bad. I didn't have a pair of boots from the Vault of Glass raid until the Taken King came out.
Dang.
That's how bad the grind was back in the day. After Taken King had come out, we went back to run the vault just for fun, and some boots finally flipping dropped. I remember saying, Seth, I got my boots! I finally got my boots!
I don't have the other pieces of the set, but...
Because I had already deleted them all.
So, yes, the game was very repetitive when it came out.
But there was something about it. I know you fell off. You got to about the point where we were ready to start raiding, and that's kind of when the grind became a little too real for you, I think, if I'm talking
there
correctly.
Was nothing left to really hold my attention. Like the magic was gone. So like when you're playing games like Skyrim and stuff like that, like it's all about getting enthralled in the world, like getting lost in what it is, and like every game is going to have repetition and is going to have just these mundane moments. It's just, are you buying the world? And I had gotten to the point where I wasn't buying the world anymore. I kind of just like saw this like bare bone mechanic, and I was like, ugh.
And it kind of, I'm sure it made like a difference to like their reset system, where it's like, okay, well I did the Vault of Glass on one character, well I can't do it on that character till next week.
Right, and I sure as heck did not. I wasn't about the life of grinding to where I was gonna make more than one character like you guys did. It's like I got a warlock for each day of the week.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say I did it the smart way and did 3 hunters. Still didn't get those boots before I ended up making one of each. But that vanilla experience was probably the same all around. You know,
it didn't have story.
You were forever level 29. It seemed like, unless you were really lucky.
27 was a long time.
Yeah. when you hit. You either got tired of the grind or you got addicted to the grind, which is like me and Seth got addicted to the grind and just kept going. And it honestly became, and this is a testament to Destiny 2, and I think Corbin wants to talk a little bit about this, and we'll get Seth's thoughts also, but it's a testament to the community that Destiny made, because that's really what kept pulling me back, was playing with my friends. So I know you had a lot to say on that, so if you want to.
But yeah, there's a lot of shade I can throw at this game. And of the 3 of us, I still am more on the side of I don't like Destiny more than I like Destiny. But the thing I love about Destiny is the community that Destiny garners. It pulls in a special kind of player. You know, you look at games like GTA. You've got the trolls and the assholes. You look at games like Call of Duty, you've got the guys who take it so seriously that they suck the fun out of everything and make it unenjoyable for other people. So if you are getting online for the first time and you're getting acclimated, they will be that asshole who votes to kick you because they take it so seriously you dropped their overall team score.
Right.
And it's like, let it breathe, man. But Destiny, although you will have people like that because it's inevitable, the general consensus of people that are on that community are just a lot of fun to play with. They're easy to talk to. They're easy to go along. They want to help. That's something that's cool. They want to help you. If you ask, there's always someone who will help you find things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how we even found some members of our fire team that's in our clan.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, hey, we're doing this, blah, 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 blah. Or someone was like, hey, I need help doing this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I like playing with you. Oh, cool. Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on? We're best friends.
Especially there at the beginning. That's how we found a lot of people.
Yeah.
Punzi.
Yep.
Chimera.
Yeah, because
Leahawk.
the most people that we played with on PS3 was in Red Dead, but only one person we consistently played with. We had Darren. We got to the point where we had, learned about who he was, lived in New Orleans. We got his phone number. We haven't got to the point where we had his girlfriend's phone number, so in case his phone died, we knew how to get a hold of him.
Man, we need you on that Red Dead.
We had Aussie Girl, who she hasn't been on since PS4 launched.
Oh, the Australian chick?
Yeah, but we played with her. But there's always moments where you would play with someone, you're like, oh, I liked you, and you would friend each other on PlayStation. But then after that session, you never really played with them again.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the people that we met on Destiny, it's been long-lasting PlayStation friendships.
Because there's something about the game. For however
the game is
frustrating the RNG is, for however frustrating the grind is.
The game is so boring that you need to talk to each other to get through it.
I mean, there's not a lie in there. I mean that's why I kept coming back. Great shooting mechanics, good time with your friends.
I think the best thing that happened for Destiny was the fact that I think this generation of console in particular has had for the majority of its lifespan kind of a drought of games. So for a long time, it was like Destiny or nothing. For like the first year of the PlayStation.
If you wanted to play with people.
Right, that's what I mean. I think if Destiny were to come out now and it be the game that it would have been a flop. Because now we have many options of games.
But I think that Destiny helped create the environment that we have. You wouldn't have Division the way it is now without Destiny.
Don't think so?
No. I would almost guarantee it. Because it was the first of its kind. And then you have just like we're kind of all getting like open world dry mouth. Because everything's massive. Everything's hundreds of hours. Everything's open world. Because they saw how Skyrim succeeded. And things like that. You know what I mean? Now
You can't let Destiny's success contribute to that at all. That would be Skyrim's success.
I'm using that as a comparable situation, if you'd let me finish. Destiny was the first game of its kind, and it was a massive overnight success regardless of its story tropes. And now you have games wanting to emulate that. So you see more and more and more of them. Just like we are now chock full of open world, massive hours-long games, thanks to Oblivion and Skyrim.
Outside of Division, what other games are emulating Destiny? So I would disagree. I wouldn't say that it's so life-changing that it's created a new genre of play, because I'm not seeing that reflected in the market.
It kind of is. I mean, now you have Battleborn, which is going to be similar to that.
But Battleborn is just Gearbox doing Gearbox Borderlands stuff.
It's not Borderlands. It's not Borderlands at all. It's more Destiny than it is Borderlands.
It's almost like Borderline League of Legends, kind of.
Art style, play style, maybe, but it's not. It's not a looter.
Yeah,
it's not a looter at all. No. So, and then I would almost say that you're gonna have success in games like Overwatch and Battleborn, which are very multiplayer, play with your friends centric because of games like Destiny. Because like you said before, Destiny, what were you gonna do? You either played Destiny because you wanted to play with your friends, or you played nothing. So now everything is becoming more and more accessible, and I think that you could argue that Destiny influenced that.
I just think it's because publishers took too long to make games for the new console.
I mean, there are plenty of games out there.
There weren't a whole lot of good ones. For first party, we only had Infamous. That was about it.
I mean, I got a stack of 25 games at home, so we obviously thought there was something good at the time. Just we can't remember it now.
Yeah, Black Flag. But
okay, we got off on a little bit of a tangent there. So we kind of talked about why me and Seth kept playing. Let's talk about our Taken King experience, Seth. What was it like for you when Taken King was being teased and when it was released?
When it was being teased, I was really hoping that it was gonna be like a completely new game, like basically a Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came out, it was like, okay, I did about 5 missions and I'm done, ready for the raid that didn't come out exactly right then.
Right.
So they kind of gave you like 2 weeks. I think it was like 2 weeks before the raid came out, something like that, where they basically got you to go and get ready for a raid, which is basically all it was.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would almost argue that they handled. I think the Taken King brought much needed story. I think we could probably all agree.
The
on
story,
that.
I felt like they brought the story back. Like in the beginning, it was just kind of like, okay, what am I doing? Okay, this and that. Not much story in the first part. They did a pretty good job with Taken King, I think, story wise.
I think where they messed up was releasing that raid so quick. It forced you to go through the Taken King content ridiculously quick. If you were a regular player like me or you, we felt like we had to be raid ready. Yeah. So we just tore through that content.
We did.
And then we were raid ready and we beat it on normal, and then we were beating it on hard, and then we had nothing to do.
That's what a lot of Destiny people do. They play the game for the raid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's especially whenever House of Wolves came out.
Have you even beaten a raid?
No, they haven't interested me, because like by the time that I ever really want to play a raid, everyone's played it so many times to where whatever Oz there is about the raid, it's lost because everyone's broken it down to science. And like I will never get on board with the mentality of like I'm getting this gear to run the raid like every week. Like that to me like has never made sense. It's like I'm doing the weekly, I'm doing the daily, and I'm gonna do the raid. I'm gonna do that every week. Like that to me just that's not been something that's ever interested me. And to me, part of the reason why I've fallen out of Destiny is because it's always building to this point, but then once you reach the point, there's not any more content, so you're just like stuck at the ceiling. So it's like, well then what was the point? To just like do this over and over again, this one thing? That for me has been the biggest reason why I fell away from Destiny.
What kept you coming back to Skyrim then?
It's the rich story. Like there's so much to do.
But once you beat the story, all the little mundane go fetch quests?
After I beat Skyrim and I did everything, the guilds and stuff, I walked away. I haven't played Skyrim since.
Okay.
I'm terrible about oh, there's a cave over here.
Go check it out. Okay. Now, I guess the only other real thing to talk about as far as our experience so far is the newest April update, which Corbin hasn't really experienced at all.
I made my suit shiny and stuff.
Yeah, you put some chroma on your suit, but you haven't really experienced. I mean, they didn't bring a whole lot of actual content, but quality of life changes.
In what way?
Infusion's now 1-to-1.
That's cool.
Loot drops are better. All of your package rewards and end of game rewards are smart now. So you either get the same light level you are or a higher light level.
Up to like 330.
Up to 330, unless you're doing the Prison of Elders. Okay, so we had a little bit of technical difficulties there. Our camera died on us. We're back up and running. I had just been explaining to Corbin how there were lots of quality of life changes in the April update, and it makes the game a lot more fun to play.
I made my shoot sign. My I made my shoot shiny.
I made my shoot shiny.
I made my suit shiny.
Okay.
You can do all of those things.
Let's get into, because there's only so much you can talk about. I mean, everything's been said so many times, so we're basically just rehashing what's been said before. But our feelings, are similar to most other Destiny players, I would imagine. So let's get into what we personally want from Destiny 2. Let's start with our Twitch streaming friend, not that one guy.
That is NOT _
No. Stop. You talking about his Twitch address?
Oh, I guess
or what are you talking about?
I assumed it was the same. So how do we find
We'll get
you on
into
Twitter?
all that in a minute. Let's finish our topic of the show. Okay? Goodness gracious.
Lord.
So,
WRD.
not that one guy.
Nobody puts baby in the corner, right?
That's
What do you want from Destiny 2?
Well, we talked about them cutting last gens out, so I think that's leaving a lot of room for more things to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, hopefully, maybe instead of, I want like bigger raids, not something that can be done in an hour.
There you go.
Something like WoW. Like,
Yeah.
this
Like-
is like we're gonna build
like-
like for a week up for this thing.
Like, I want to spend maybe 2 hours a night on a couple of nights a week.
Okay, so
Dang.
we're
So
talking a
multiple.
massive raid.
Like multiple, but not only like that, but maybe increasing the size of a fire team.
There you
like
go.
A couple people would be cool.
So like 8 to 10
So-
instead of 6.
Because we do run into a problem where some people get left out,
Mm-hmm.
and then
That's really easy.
where it's like,
That would be me, and I'm
We-
one of the founding members of that
Yeah.
clan.
because we have 3 characters, and you run 3 raids. By the time you do 3 raids, you're like, okay, well, I have the rest of the week to do this. But then I don't have an issue running another raid, but that's only one for one person.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had more time to run a bazillion raids, I'd run a bazillion raids.
Yeah.
But there's so much to be doing in Destiny still. Even when there's not something to be doing, there's always something to be doing.
That's very true. I actually really like that idea. I think that'd be really cool. Even if like the growing of the fire team is definitely an awesome idea, but even if they don't do that, if they made it to where the raid was so long, and then they would have to up the rewards. It would have to be
Yeah.
very rewarding so that our
Right.
time meant something.
Yeah.
But it would almost be easier to help other people because okay, I've done it once. Maybe make a raid to where you really only want to do it for rewards once a week, and then you can go in and help other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I'm kind of to the point where I really only play on my hunter.
yeah.
You know, so they should do less things that make you feel like you have to run 3 characters and do more things. And I think that's part of what the April update did. It makes
Yeah.
you feel like I could just play one character. But I really like that idea. What else do you want from Destiny 2?
I'd like to see more weapons.
There you go. There you go.
That and armor, because it's like for the longest time, especially when raid time comes out, it's raid gear all you see on people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like if you don't have raid gear, then you obviously don't have the best stuff. And until they made like the infusion stuff, it was always raid gear.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the other stuff wasn't high enough light level.
Yeah.
So, and like you were saying earlier, it was like whenever Destiny was coming out, where I have a bazillion guns, and you see about the same 10 guns in Crucible.
Yeah.
So, I would like,
Like
a,
that.
a wider
Like that.
diversity.
Yeah.
And maybe like they got auto rifles. They brought in sidearms, which I think is cool. I'm
Mhm.
horrible with them.
Yeah.
I
Me
wish
too.
I was better. Maybe bring in like SMGs or something.
That'd be kind of cool. Okay. Anything else you'd like to see?
I'm sure you guys will touch in on this, but larger maps,
Mm-hmm.
because
I bet we're gonna touch that.
Why don't you go ahead? Go ahead.
So, some things will lightly I don't want to touch things that obviously Seth has talked about. I do agree that the gun and the equipment need to be upped. When Bungie's reps are saying they have so many so much equipment, so many guns. What they're referencing is all the filth green and blue guns that no one wants to use. When you get to the high level stuff, that's insane.
It's kind of fun to like if you get something blue out of it, just a blue Ingram or something, and you put it on. It's like you don't really, when you're leveling up so quick, you don't really have the time to like really go, ooh, look at it. Because there's a lot of good looking armor that's blue.
I had the one that I called
there's good looking armor that's green.
Helmet. Yeah. I had that one helmet that I called the Horn Helmet. It looked like a Robotech helmet. Like from a mobile suit from Robotech. And, I mean, you can't even infuse that low of stuff.
No.
See,
like, they need to almost like, on DC Universe Online, they have a cosmetic option where you can equip things, but what is seen is different.
Yeah.
So you have the best things equipped to you, but you really get to choose
everything
how you look.
Yeah, everything you've earned, you basically earn a skin of. So you can look however you want, and then still equip whatever you want also.
They could have, like say the same, like, arm piece, but just the different rarities of
it. That's true, too. So even make it to where, like, I could take this green and turn it into a blue, turn it into a purple. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool, too.
Something that gives me hope, and we kind of talked about this off podcast, is like, Bungie's been pulling in some outside resources for Destiny 2. And the teams that they're gathering appear to me to be addressing my issues Destiny 1 and what I want on Destiny 2. You've got head writers and stuff in the Mass Effect games leaving BioWare to write the story for Destiny 2. You've got High Moon Studios for the past couple of years, come to find out, have been working on Destiny 2, working on working on their guns, working on their equipment and playstyle. And High Moon Studios, for those who don't know, is a smaller studio. They haven't done a lot in their lifetime, but the two big games that they've done are the two Transformer games, Fall and War for Cybertron, which are great games if you're a lover of the core G1 lore of Transformers. But one of the coolest things about Fall of Cybertron was the online. It's actually one of the most fun online games I've ever played. You create your own Transformer, and they really took the time to make every piece of the Transformer unique with diverse options. So no one's Transformer looked the same. And they have a really unique play style of how they operate online. So the fact that they are pulling in these outside talents to help build this game tells me that they are really trying to make Destiny 2 probably what Destiny 1 should have been.
Yeah.
But those are my issues. When I'm playing a game that is supposed to make me feel like I'm almost playing a role-playing game, I need customization. I need to feel like I have an identity. My Warlock is not going to look like anyone else's Warlock. And again, kind of like when I said I fell out of Destiny, it's because everyone's building towards this gear for this no real insight. Everyone's building towards that gear, and it kind of touches back to what Seth was saying. Everyone's running around with the same stuff because that's the best stuff. Give me more stuff so that I can look different.
Yeah. Even now, when you can infuse everything up to high light level, you still see there's still not enough diversity for you to feel like you are completely unique.
Right.
So.
And even going to what Seth was saying about the guns, why not even go a step farther and do different types of. This is a sci-fi game, right? Like we don't have to have like legitimate bullets. Like have unique looking things like plasma and just aesthetically pleasing.
They did that a little bit with like fusion rifles.
Oh, yeah.
But they could.
You know what I mean? Like having like an auto rifle that just fires like plasma beams or something. Yeah, like, that'd be cool.
As long as it doesn't turn into like what Call of Duty did. No. As long as it don't turn into that, please.
Yeah. Story is huge for me. Again, if I'm going to be playing a game, I don't mind grinding if I feel like I'm enthralled in this world. Give me something that I feel like I have stake in. Make a compelling story that I want to be a part of, that I want to see unfold. And, like you touched upon, maps. I think them cutting off the last gen is part of the reason. I think it being a game that is stepping in both worlds of last gen and current gen. And I think it's so important to say that because I think some people are still calling PlayStation 4 and Xbox One next gen. It's current gen. This has been out for years now. The fact that the PS3 and Xbox 360 are still running these games infuriates me. It's time to let go of the past and embrace what is out. And I think a lot of my issues are because it's a game that is in both worlds. I can't look back on any game that I've played in the past that has been out for both the previous console and the current console that I really, really enjoyed. And in order to really kind of explore those large maps that we kind of envisioned when we were thinking about this game, allowing us to go from Earth to the Moon to Mars to Venus, you can't be running that on PS3. You embrace just the new stuff, the current stuff.
We're not talking like Elder Scrolls size maps,
but make me feel like I'm exploring something. You know what I mean? Like the Cosmodrome is not large. The moon is not large.
Not taking 10 seconds to go from one area to another.
Right. Like, I want to feel like I can explore an area. Like
which they gave you sparrows, which make you go really quick. But I mean,
and I think that kind of goes back to the grind. If I had a large space and I'm grinding quests, it doesn't seem the same. But when you have like just like this like I'm like grinding in this basement. Like it's real repetitive, real fast because it's not a lot to see. You know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense. So it makes the repetitive quests seem less repetitive because you have more places to go and see.
Right?
Yeah, you would have more areas to do that same quest.
Right.
Makes sense. I think I think everything Bungie has done since they released the game has been to make Destiny what it should have been and what we now want it to be. And I think they're going in that direction.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I think we've touched on just about everything. Yep. Okay. And story. There's so many awesome stories in the Grimoire. I've really gotten into listening to like lore podcasts or like My Name is Bife on YouTube does a lot of lore stuff. Man, the lore is so deep, but it's not in the game.
Yeah.
Seth, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You're welcome. Where can our audience find you at?
You can find me at Twitch, at twitch.tv/not_that_1, the number 1, _guy. I try to stream 4 or 5 nights a week. Usually, start about 7 o'clock. Try to 7:30.
Okay.
So, because I do work full time, and
this
is my other full time thing.
Do you have themed episodes? Like things that you do?
I play a lot of Destiny. I'm terrible at Crucible, but I like to play it because I like to make other people even more horrible about the game, and then some people make me even feel horrible, even more worse about the game. Sometimes I want to go cry in a corner, but I don't rage quit though, so you won't ever see me get super mad because I'm just there to enjoy it. But I also play some Minecraft. I know Clayton and I are going to be getting into some Overwatch, so be a lot of fun stuff. I do have a Twitter. Follow me there at not_that1guy with a number 1. And if you want to find me on PlayStation, and maybe we can play some Crucible or something, if you play Destiny, you can find me at not_that1guy. They'll put it in the description or something.
We'll have it all in the show notes for you.
It's definitely
be easier than me spelling it out. So.
Alright. Well, that concludes our Destiny-centered episode with Not That One Guy, Seth Klocke. Next week, you ask, our episode is going to be why Tron is more relevant than ever, and it deserves a sequel. Be sure to like us on Facebook, and feel free to email us at cp2degree@gmail.com for topic ideas and just general things you'd like off your chest. We're here for you. Let us know how you're doing. You can follow me on Twitter at Corbin Presson, that's CORBINPRESSON. You can follow my brother
at Clayton Presson.
Once again, despite what your word devices and phones might say, it is not T, Theory SSON. Please be sure to follow on Podbean and or subscribe on iTunes. We'd love to hear your reviews on iTunes as well. Let us know how you're doing. The Gameplay and I have an avenue opening up to us, and we want to fine-tune this machine and something you want to listen to on a weekly basis. Let us know. And as always, for everything in the Nerdosphere, keep it right here at CP2 Degree.
We'll see you
next time.